Hello friends, welcome. I'm glad you're here with me today. I just love today's project. This is some products that I have wanted to work with ever since they have been released, and that is this fun weirdo stamp set. I loved the sayings in here. I love the expressions on these animals, and I just was very excited to finally get this one and put it to use. So the exact name of this is So Weird, and they just look so weird. I love them. And I decided to combine those with the brand new Barnyard Elements. They do have coordinating dies, which I also used. I also used the wire background and a few other pieces. I did use some of the pierced and stitched circles, and I used the long grass piece from the Build a Fairy set. So I pulled this one out. I did not put a sentiment on the inside, but I did think this from the whole herd set had some really fun sayings that would be a good sentiment for the inside of my card. So those are the products that I used, and I'm going to go ahead and set these aside. And let's take a look at the inside of this card. So the way it works, it is a mini slimline, and it opens like this, and you've got all your kind of so weird animals going on in here. You've got embrace the weirdness, you are weird, and stay weird, and weird is just a side effect of being awesome. And it is a card that opens up as well, so you've got this front part that pulls out if you wanted to stand it up and look at it, but it also opens up so you can write your greetings and all on the inside. So to make this card, we're going to need 2 pieces of white paper. This one, I wrote down the measurements, but I'm going to go ahead and measure them just to make sure I get it right. 6.5 by 6.5, and we're going to score that at 3 1/4. All right. And this is going to be our card base. And for now, we can set that one aside. We won't be using it for a while. And now this piece measures 9 3/4 by 6 1/4. And we are going to score this at 3 1/4 from both ends. So we'll do 3 1/4 from that end, then turn it around. And we're going to do 3 1/4 from this end. And if that's all done correctly, you should have 3 equal parts that measure 3 1/4. Now you may have noticed that my design here has this fun angle to it so that you can see some of the elements behind it. And so to get that design, I'm going to take my ruler and I am going to measure 2 1/4 down. So 2 1/4, and put just a little pencil mark just right here down from the top. Now I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and let me move some inks here that are in my way. I don't need that arm out. And what we're going to do is this pencil mark that I made at 2 1/4 inches down, I am going to line that up here with my knife to the corner right down here. So I'm going to place the corner right here on the knife line and this little 2 1/4 mark. So both of those things are lined up with my knife, and now I'm just going to chop that off. Okay, so here is our piece that's going to be our part that pulls out. Now this is where I could get a little turned around, and it's probably because I have a dyslexic mind and it just messes up sometimes. But I want this piece to be folded this direction. Is that right? Well, yeah, this way. So this is my fence and this is my grass. I'm just putting a little F and a little G. And then this piece on the back, I'm going to fold around this way. And this is my fence, and this is my grass. So when it opens up, I also want fence and grass on this part. So this is where we're going to decorate. Now when it's closed, I also want a little bit of fence right here. All right, so I do all of that just to help myself. Otherwise, I will make it mirror image backwards. Twice when I was trying to create this card, I made it backwards. So that's when I just started putting the little F's and G's to help myself, because I'm like, obviously my mind can't see this without giving myself some little help. So there we go. And if you're like me, just put your little marks, and you can come back and erase those later. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is put some black fence on each of our sections. Now, this is easier said than done. So, I'm going to take my minty masking tape here, and I'm going to pull a section out that is basically right at 3 1/4 wide. Might be a little longer, but you want it at least 3 1/4 wide. Okay. And I'm going to cut that down. We're going to use it more than once, but right here, maybe not quite that high. Don't want my grass to be quite that high. There we go. And put my glasses on. So we're going to do this back section first. I'm going to add my tape just right along there. Okay? So the part that I'm doing right now is this section right here where my bird is sitting. Pull this out. And I'm telling you right now, I can hardly do this without getting black ink all over me, but I am going to try. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. And take my piece and lay it right down on there. Press that down. See? Look, already. Cannot do it without it. I don't know how I did it, but I did. Okay, there, we got one section done. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and open this up. We're going to move our tape down to cover up this section. And so now we're going to fold this one back. And this time we're going to do these two sections. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that tape over so that it... oh, wait, that's not the one that I need that section done. So let's see here. Here they are. I'm going to grab a piece of masking and we're going to just mask that off right there. Okay. Okay, so just like that, we're going to mask that off. And let's see, do I have that on my hand still? Okay, let's go ahead, ink up our piece again. I'm purposely not inking this bottom row because I know it's not going to go down that far, and that gives me a way to kind of hold on to it. Maybe that will help a little bit. Okay, so now, same thing. I'm going to place that right in place and rub down on that. Ah, pretty good. Okay, so far so good. Go ahead, peel our masking tape off, and this time we're going to go around to this side. Now, for this one, we are going to mask off right up here again using our Post-it notes. And I'm going to open this up so that I get my tape about the same level here. That looks pretty good. That one little spot here that I'm not meeting up. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. So this time, this is the one where we want fence here and here. So I'm not masking this off, but we will have to press down pretty hard. Now, a lot of it won't show. As you can see, just this one little corner shows. So that's where we want to make sure that we press down. So we're going to do this one more time. Carefully set that down, and we're going to press all of that, and hopefully we got everything. So, all right, pretty good. All right, I'm happy with that. So this piece I'm going to set aside, and I'll wash that up later. And I'm just going to grab a wet wipe and just wipe my fingers so that I don't destroy this card later by having black ink on my hands, because that is something that I struggle with. Me and black ink. I tend to get it everywhere. So, all right, let's go ahead and take our mask off. Open this up, take our mask off here, and there we go. We have our card back ready to go. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is just a little bit of ink blending. And this ink blending is very rough. And I'm using 4 colors. I'm using Tumbled Glass. We will eventually use Squeezed Lemonade, though not necessarily yet. I'm using Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn. So to start out, we're going to add a little bit of sky. And I'm just going to go around the edges. I'm not going for a solid coverage. I'm just going around the edges of all my panels. So I'm going to go down the seam here so that I get the blue on both sides. So wherever there's the fence, I'm adding blue around the edges. All right, now this little section right over here, I'm also going to add the blue to that. All right, and we're done with the blue. I know it looks a little rough right now, but it turns out really cute in the end. So remember that long grass piece I told you about? So I made myself a stencil, and let me measure this for you so I can tell you. It's 12 inches long, and this little section right here is 3.5. And I did that on purpose because I'm going to lay this down, and I am purposely going to mask off one section. And right there. Okay, so when it's right here, I know that this section is masked off, and I'm going to go ahead and add my grass to this other 2 sections. But is it too low down? It is a little low down, so I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these, place it right down here. Okay. And I'm just, for the most part, I'm just going to be holding this with my hand, but I'm going to add Twisted Citron Grass here on my homemade stencil. And I'm going to cover that solid. There we go. I'm making a video. Now before I move on from this section, I'm going to come in with a little bit of mowed lawn. And you know what? I just realized I actually put my lids on the wrong one. And I just did this in mowed lawn. So I need to add the Twisted Citron. I thought something that looked awful dark. Okay, well, that's a mistake you don't want to make. But I've done it for you, so you don't have to. There we go. Okay. It's all right. Just add a little bit of that lime in there. We still got the same depth. We just did it in the opposite order, right? Okay, so now we will go ahead and move our stencil over and do that last section. I'm going to do that just like that. Line this up. And I'm lining up the end of that card just right over there. So we're gonna, I have no idea what color this is now. I'm so confused, but we're gonna go ahead and do what we did before so that all the sides match. So we're gonna start with our mowed lawn, which is not what I did the first time, but that's all right. And then come in with a little bit of the brighter color to brighten it up. Still works. Okay. Get the lids on the right thing now. That's what I get for scrapping too late at night. All right, so our background is coming together very nicely. Now, I do see that right down here, I'm going to add just a little bit of this blue, just right along the grass line there, because my fence doesn't quite meet my grass. And this will just help kind of hide that. Okay. All right, there we go. We are done with all of our ink blending for the moment. There is one more color. We'll do the squeezed lemonade after we do some other parts. So let's go ahead and take a look at our die cuts and the pieces I've made for this card. So I've got my sentiments. These are, I believe, 2 and 3/4 inch circles, and I have stamped and heat embossed "You Are Weird." The same 2 and 3/4 inch circle stamped and heat embossed with "Embrace Your Weirdness." And this one is a 1 and just a little bit bigger than 1.5 that says "Weird is a side effect of being awesome." And then for the Stay Weird, I just used one of the sentiment strips and put "Stay Weird" in it. Now for all of my little animals, I have colored them very kind of pale. And then I have colored up all of my wooden pieces for my barnyard scene. So let's see here. For Embrace Your Weirdness, I'm going to put this fun kind of curved piece of wood, and we're going to pop that up and put it right above there. Oh, you know what? I can't put this down yet. I almost forgot. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and ink blend these after all. Okay, on this same piece, all of our little sentiments, we're going to put some of that squeezed lemonade on these pieces. So let's go ahead and just going to go right around the edges, but give them a nice shine. I'm not really calling this like sunlight or anything like that. It just, I thought the colors complemented each other and looked good together for my barnyard scene. But I'm leaving the center white to kind of make it look like a halo or a glow. And I'm doing that same technique to all of my pieces. Even my little Stay Weird piece. I'm going to add some yellow to that. All right, I need a little bit more on this piece. All right, now we're ready. All right, so on the Embrace Your Weirdness, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this piece of Barnyard Element just right above my sentiment there. And then I'm going to take my little cow, and I want him to be right underneath there. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to glue him where I want him. And this is going to help us get the placement of our bucket and the placement of our circle here on top. So just right here on the back of his head, adding his glue. We're just going to set him so he's right there under this setting. And this guy's circle is going to get attached right here on this front part. And he's also going to get the bucket. So I'm going to add some foam on the back of this bucket. And I found that if you try to build this into place by gluing down this circle, you might get it too low and end up with your bucket where you have to cut it half off the page. Now, I did trim just a little bit of it off, and that's fine, but you don't want to get it so low that you're losing your bucket. So that's why it's a good idea to go ahead and have him all glued down before you add your bucket. Now, when we get ready to put that in place, we can test out where we want it to be. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do it. I think this will work best. Let's just go ahead and put him down. There we go. All right. Now we'll just go ahead and add our glue. I'll show you why I'm doing all that. All right. So I am going to trim off just a little bit of the bucket. And there we go. Now, the reason I wanted to do that is because this circle, where I mount this one, I want it to be directly behind that one. So I'm going to close that one so that I can see exactly where I want to put this one. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to be popping up anything else because the rest of them are all underneath. So everything else is going to be glued down. We're going to put that one right here. Going to go ahead and glue down the wood piece. And on this one, I made a couple of these wooden slats, almost like our sheep is standing in a little barn of some kind. Now this particular card design I had in a file of mine that I keep when I see a card online or in Pinterest or somebody's YouTube where they've made something that I like. I create a little file with the directions, and then I pull it out when I have some idea that I think will work. Now I'm trimming this right here so that that little point doesn't get in the way of my fold. And I'm also going to trim this one right over here. Okay. And now we're going to put this. So I had this in my file, and I had marked it Gina K. So apparently she called this one a Cascading Z-fold. Her card was totally different, but that is where I originally found this kind of design to and the measurements to make this part. So wanted to be upfront about that. I know we all get ideas from lots of places. So before we get any further, we're going to go ahead and glue this piece onto this piece. But I didn't want this to be just plain white. So we're going to go ahead and add some of our yellow right up here to this corner. I just used what was on my brush. There we go. Okay. Now by gluing this in place first helps us know where we want to place our other elements. Because if you guess at it, you're liable to get it, you know, too high, too low, not quite in the right place. Whoops, line that up right down there with that corner. Line it up there. And that looks pretty good. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. Okay, let's open that up and go ahead, and we're going to add our last elements. I love these barnyard elements. Now I wanted to set this one, let's see, yeah, right like this, with the top edge right at the top of my card. So that way I could put it in an envelope with no problems. And I wanted my bird to be standing right here, but I was hoping his little head would be seen. Okay, so I put him off to one side, and I put him so his feet were just right at the top of that board so that his head would be sure to show on when the card was closed. And then his little sign here says "Stay Weird," and I'm going to put that at an angle just right up here, as if it is tacked down onto his little window that he's standing in. And then I have to say, my favorite of all these images is this pathetic looking little pig. My sister was married to a pig farmer in Indiana, and they had hogs and things for years, and I don't know, she had all kinds of little pig things, and there's something about this little pig that is just so sad, so weird, perfectly named, but he's super cute. And I'm going to put him right there next to his little slop bucket, and that's where we'll put our bigger sentiment here. So that'll just finish off our little farm scene that we've got going here. I think it is sets like this that Whimsy Stamps gets their name. They take cute little critters, but they take them to the next level by giving them so much personality and fun, and I just love it. All right, so there's our little pig. And that completes our Cascading Z-fold card. And like I said, I did think that the stamp set, Happy Birthday from the Whole Herd, might be fun if you work with somebody that embraces their weird. That this might be a fun card for them. And you could do a birthday card. You can put greetings from the funny farm, greetings from the whole herd. Just I thought this one complemented if you wanted to go ahead and put some kind of sentiment on the inside. Now these two cards, I'm not sure yet exactly how I'm going to be using them, so I am not going to put a message on the inside quite yet. But I hope you enjoyed learning about these elements and seeing how to make the Cascading Z-fold. And I sure appreciate you being here with me, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Isn't that fun? Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you so much. Do leave your comments and hit that thumbs up button. And if you're interested in any of these wonderful products, they are listed below the video. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.